I never, ever thought I was going to be able to make this video, but things have changed, so here we are. I am super pleased to announce that I am in and I consulted on Solo, a Star Wars story. By the way, this is my Star Wars jacket. There you go. We got the Pinewood Studios thing there, and on the back we got the Han Solo bit. I am going to take this jacket off though, because it's a bit warm in England right now. Before we get to the main video, please follow me on Instagram if you're not already. I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers and I'm pretty close. So if you do want to follow me, link in the description. If you don't want to follow me, that's fine. It's your life. You pursue your dreams, don't let me tell you what to do. If you do follow me on other social media, you may be aware that sometimes I'm hired to work on TV adverts or movies if they need someone to sort of consult on sleight of hand or be a hand double. Like one time I was in a Samsung advert, another time I was Brad Pitt's hand double in the movie Allied. Here's a little clip. Fun fact about that clip, by the way, that's actually my body and my hands and my arms with Brad Pitt's head superimposed onto my body, which is weird. And if you're wondering, yes, I did meet Brad Pitt and we shook hands, which I thought was very appropriate. Now, most of the time when you do film work, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. That just means that you can't talk about it, so you can't leak info about the film before the film comes out. Pretty common standard practice. And a lot of the time, those agreements mean that you can never talk about the project that you've worked on. And this is what I thought was gonna be the case with Star Wars. I just thought it was gonna be one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life that I would never be able to share, which is, you know, frustrating, but that's how it goes. But that has totally changed because my friend D Tails, who works on Star Wars, he's a part of the CFX team. He is allowed to talk about Star Wars, and basically in an interview, he mentioned me and what I was doing on the movie.
You know in the trailer, you got that guy with the half disc on his head like that, and he's going, blah, 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 and he does cards, goes, that's a street magician called Stephen Bridges.
So now that means that is public info, which means within reason, I'm allowed to talk about it. So a little bit of a round of applause there for Details. Go and follow him on Instagram and send him some love. Without him, I would not be able to talk about this at all. I was originally hired in as a consultant to help teach Donald Glover and Alden Ehrenreich how to handle cards and chips in a way which made it look like they were really like professional, confident gamblers. There's a card game in the Star Wars universe called Sabacc, and there's a scene in the movie where people are playing Sabacc, so it's super important, especially for Donald Glover's character, to look like he totally knows what he's doing, he's really good at cards, and he's just a boss at this game. So that was originally what I was there to do, but very quickly, the directors decided to also put me in the scene. They thought it made more sense to just have me in the scene, handling cards and being the dealer, as opposed to me training up somebody else to handle cards when the cards are a weird shape, they're in costume where you can't really see and you're wearing gloves. So it would have been a challenge to teach someone that isn't familiar with cards how to handle cards. It was a challenge for me to figure out how to handle cards when wearing leather gloves. So of course, this is like super exciting, being in the movie. I was so hyped. A lot of you will be wondering what it was like to meet Donald Glover and what he's like. I can confirm he's a really nice dude, really cool guy. Can't say a bad word about him. Yeah, really awesome dude. So I would sort of teach him how to handle cards, shuffle cards, do little chip tricks like this thing I do with my phone that I sort of made up. It's like based off a coin roll. But yeah, I taught him that, and that actually made the cut in the movie. He's doing that with a chip. So that was the kind of thing that I was working with Donald Glover on. But then being in the movie was a whole challenge in itself. So normally when I watch things like Star Wars, I see these people in these costumes with these heads on, and I think, oh, okay, that's got to be, you know, fairly straightforward. Like they're wearing a costume, maybe they're a bit warm, but they can just take the head off whenever they like. But that is not how it works. It's actually really difficult to wear this headgear. A lot of the time it's really heavy, you can't see, you're breathing in your own air, maybe you can't even hear because there's animatronics going on, and it's quite challenging to wear. So when I first put on in costume, when I first put on the head for my character, I felt so claustrophobic, and after 10 minutes, I asked to be taken out to have a little bit of a break. So I was really worried about this, because if I couldn't have it on for 10 minutes, I didn't know how I was gonna manage it. But when you're actually on set and you're working with the team, the CFX team, which is the creature effects team, are so good and so professional, and they're looking after you and they're making sure you're okay. I quickly sort of relaxed into it and then, you know, could do it. I really can't stress enough how great that team is, how brilliant they are, and also how difficult the job of actually wearing, you know, being in CFX is. The costume I was wearing was definitely one of the easier ones, but I don't know how some of the CFX team manage it. It takes a lot of endurance, and I just have, as I say, infinite respect to everybody on that team. Shuffling and dealing cards when you're in leather gloves and you can't really see is a challenge, but it was fun. Like I was just dealing out the cards, hoping that they landed where they needed to. Everybody on set was really cool. It was really cool just to be part of such a slick, well put together operation. And yeah, I had a great time. It still feels crazy to say it, like literally Star Wars. I hope this video doesn't sound like I'm bragging, by the way. Like, this is very much, I don't look at this as a, look at what I've achieved, I'm in Star Wars. I look at this as very much a kind of a right time, right place. Yes, having the skills, but also getting lucky at the same time. So yeah, I'm very thankful and grateful to have been a part of it. I'd love to chat more and go into loads of detail about the whole experience, but I think I just have to sort of not do that. I'll only talk about the things that have been publicly talked about by people like D. Please follow me on Instagram if you're not already, subscribe if you're new, and hit that like button. That would be swell, and I will see you next time. Thank you.